So yeah, man, I guess like Phil DeFranco, I kind of want to just get into it because you're let's see, just for the people, you're John Robert Drake, and you're running for governor of California. And
Yep.
so I want to find out a ton about you. So first of all, socialist or capitalist? Are you one or the other or neither? Or how do you feel about those two terms?
I would say that I am definitely more I'm definitely more left-wing, so I definitely lean more towards socialism than capitalism. But that doesn't mean I don't recognize the importance of competition within the marketplace. I totally understand that. I just think that capitalism tends to be more inherently selfish in the way that they treat workers, and we can see that through major corporations like Amazon, Walmart, and just so many others.
Ventresca had a distinction, and maybe you would agree with this, that he's socialistic to the point that you're guaranteed life, and then so kind of half the system is socialistic, and then the other half is capitalistic. Once you're guaranteed life, then you get into the competitive spirit for like luxuries.
Oh yeah, okay, you know what? I totally agree with that. That's actually a really good distinction. I like that.
Cool. I've never been to California, so I got a couple probably dumb outsider questions. Do you like avocados?
I love avocados. I am a huge connoisseur of avocados. 100% love them.
Do you get rid of, will California like kick you out if you don't like avocados? Does everybody love avocados there?
It's weird. I've met Californians who either love avocados or despise them completely. I've never met someone in the middle like, take it or leave it. You either like them or you hate them, and it's weird.
You know, I've never actually tried them, so I guess I'm kind of like making fun a little bit, but I've never tried them, so I guess I can't knock it until I try it.
Actually, that's so weird.
It is. It's actually very weird because I grew up on a farm, so you know I was actually around a lot of vegetables and produce and whatnot. Rent. I always hear that rent is always through the roof. Ventresca, he says that his rent in San Francisco is $4,200 a month. What's your rent, if you don't mind?
My rent is, because I'm actually in San Luis Obispo right now because I am going to school up there. My rent is actually like $950 a month, so it's actually much cheaper. If I was living in Ventura still, my rent would actually be upwards of around $1,500 to $1,600 a month.
You don't have to feel like you need to brag about your rent. The most I ever spent was about $1,000 in Florida, but last was I'm owning now, but before it was like $500. So $950 isn't too crazy, but I started. There's cheap land in Colorado, so just to let you know, I mean, you're spending $1,000 kind of on rent. There's like 3,000. You can get 5 acres for $3,000. I got tired of just kind of wasting money when it comes to rent, and I got something else to ask about later on about that. But California. So let's see. To outsiders, what would you like outsiders to know about California, things that they don't know so they don't seem so completely ignorant about California?
Yeah, I would say that, because I was talking to some high school students the other day from outside of the state who were doing projects on the California recall, and they were actually kind of shocked when I told them that California isn't actually built for the disadvantaged. It isn't built for small business or even the lower income individuals. It's definitely geared towards the highest earning individuals in this state and in this country. So what do I mean by that? So like small businesses and lower income individuals always get the short end of the stick. We pay more percentage in taxes, we pay more amounts in taxes, and we're also held to much stricter regulations than giant corporations are in the way we treat our workers and the way that we operate our businesses. And so it's actually driven like not only like a lot of small businesses out, but it's driven like a lot of small businesses into the ground. And this was especially more prevalent in the pandemic because while corporations were benefiting the most because they weren't having to follow the same regulations as small businesses were, thousands of businesses actually ended up just collapsing. So
yeah, I heard, was it 30%?
Yeah, so I would definitely say that California, unlike what outsiders see California as. California is not a progressive state in any sort of the way. We have progressive values, but it's not a progressive state in the way that it should be.
Yeah.
That it doesn't function how we would like it to function as progressives.
Yeah, I feel you on that. From Kentucky, I guess 20 years ago, California seemed super duper progressive, but I feel like as time has progressed, they've kind of been dethroned a little bit. So let's see. You're an immigrant, right? I mean, you basically lived here your whole life. But what age were you when you came here? And you came from Latvia, is that correct?
Yeah, that's 100% correct. And thank you for actually knowing how to say it. A lot of people never figure it out.
It's pronounced how it looks.
Yeah, right. People always like
Latvia.
Yeah, Latvia. I was gonna say Latvia. Yeah, but no. I came when I was around 4 or 5 years old. I still don't know the exact age that I came, but yeah, I came when I was quite young. But it was still a culture shock because by the time I got here to America, I was already put into school like really quickly.
So how old are you now?
Top of the line. So like they sacrificed so much for my education, and in my classes, I would still get like made fun of for not knowing like basic English words. I didn't learn English until like I was around maybe 6 or 7, so it took me about like a year and a half to 2 years to actually learn English.
So you're still you're a little traumatized by all those kindergarten burns?
Yeah, basically. Well, it was also I couldn't talk with anyone my age, and that's what made things hard. Because,
no, that would be crazy. That would be crazy. Do you know any Latvian right now, like language?
I can say like Trais mans vārds Roberts, which is just like hi, my name's Robbie, or because when I came to the United States, my name was Roberts or Roberts.
Huh.
But my parents changed it in order to Americanize me. But
right. No, I mean, I like it. It kind of rolls off your tongue, John Robert Drake. So that I approve. I don't know how that makes you feel.
Thank you so much. I'm glad someone else likes my name.
But let's see. Kevin Paffrath brags that he would be the youngest governor in history at 29 years of age. So how old are you?
I'm 20. So
wow! So you got him by a whole decade. He's middle-aged compared to you.
Yeah, and you know what? While we're on the topic of Kevin Paffrath, I just want to say that he is an absolute dick for absolutely stealing Democratic votes in this election. He came out and said, "Oh, I'm disillusioned with the Democratic Party because they're not treating me fair." Blah blah blah. Well, what do you expect when you say we should recall our Democratic governor and then endorse Larry Elder as a good replacement? What an absolute douchebag. He absolutely if Larry Elder becomes governor, he had a huge part in it.
Yeah, no, I think you can actually be a good Democrat and vote no on the recall because the second question is just if he's recalled. So essentially, you don't have anything to lose by voting for the second question. So Kevin Paffrath is he's like number 2 in the alternative. So you got Larry Elder's like polling in the 20s, and then Paffrath is right up there like 9, about 8 or 9 points.
And he isn't even a Democrat. The only reason why he's a mainstream candidate was because the mainstream media said he was, and so that pushed him to the front line of everything. And that's one reason why people are voting for him is because he has name recognition. If people actually knew his policies, and if they heard my policies compared to his, I'd 100% get their vote. So
you'd be totally up for a debate, and if
100%.
If Kevin Paffrath wanted to debate you, you would be up for a debate. So it's up to him at this point.
Yeah, no, I would debate him 100%. He's from Ventura, where I'm from, and I just discovered that apparently he lived 5 minutes away from me.
Wow, and you have landlord issues. Like you're totally right. I don't see how you're not seething. I was just on a policy level. You're right. He has no progressive planks at all. I haven't heard him talk about universal health care, this or that, and he's got some crazy pie in the sky ideas. But essentially, he's Mr. Wall Street. He's a corporatist. He's right wing. I don't even know if he's like Milton Friedman. So he's kind of just like a right-wing greedy bastard. Like Larry Elder at least kind of has he's got a Milton Friedman sort of foundation, so I feel like I don't know. I feel like that might be a little bit more progressive, but I'll get. We don't have to talk about that. But Larry Elder, I think it might be a little bit more progressive, like coming from the Stone Age, right? If you actually have a basis for your capitalism. But Kevin Paffrath, I don't know. I guess it kind of goes to my theory of government. If you're a communist, I think that you would actually care about the people. But if you're a capitalist and you go into being the governor, I don't know if you're going to care about the people. If you're just going to enrich yourself, right? Isn't that what a good capitalist does? Just enriches himself. So I kind of trust a communist, whereas a capitalist, it's like, okay, Kevin Paffrath, I know you'll get in there and enrich yourself, but will you actually will you pass universal health care for any? Because you've succeeded in this system, right? He's done well in this system, so why would he change any of it to better, to benefit anybody else?
No. I totally agree with you on that. It's people like to always tell me, well, he's from the middle class, so he totally understands what and totally can help the middle class. The problem that we see time and time again is when these people from the middle class end up becoming rich.
Yeah, he used to be middle class.
Yeah. They don't make things easier. They don't make things easier for people trying to make wealth. In fact, they actually make it harder because now they're trying to protect that wealth. And Kevin Paffrath is no different. He also I trusted John F. Kennedy because he was not only humble, but I could definitely tell. Sorry, someone else was trying to call me. That was funny. I can definitely tell when John F. Kennedy says we want to help people, we want to make things easier for the lower income individuals. He means it. Kevin Paffrath, because he's so self-interested and because he's from the bottom of the ladder, he wants to protect the wealth he's made. So you think as a real estate investor he's going to support things like statewide rent control? BS. He's not going to do stuff like that. He's not going to to decommodify housing. Why? Because it won't protect his bottom dollar. It won't protect his profits. And that's the biggest issue we're dealing with, is that we're dealing with self-interested multimillionaires trying to become governor again. And we've already had multimillionaires as governors for 50 years. And in that 50 years, the quality of life for the average Californian has absolutely plummeted. And so I'm not going to try and risk another multimillionaire becoming governor. It just doesn't work, and there's just precedent for it. I'm
hungry for genuine empathy. I don't know if you saw that Curtis Sliwa, just a Republican in New York City who empathized with like a crazy homeless guy.
Yeah, I saw him, yeah.
Yeah, that brought me to tears because it was like, instead of just saying, I like the homeless, I'm going to do this and do that, the guy just said, I'm listening, what do you want? And the guy, I think that's all he wanted was just someone to kind of listen to him.
Yeah, he started crying about it.
He asked him, do you like it here? And then the guy was like, oh no, am I going to get kicked out? Because I think like in the back of his mind, I don't know, just like from a crazy perspective, if I could get into his shoes, maybe he thought that was a threat to the place that he loved, and so he was trying to disrupt it, and then he found out that they was actually doing something good, and he was like, oh no, have I ruined it all? And just genuine empathy. I think you're absolutely right about that, I don't hear it from Larry Elder, I don't hear it from Kevin Paffrath. There's a lot of these, that John Cox, there's a lot of these guys that I don't hear that genuine empathy, like, there's an authenticity gap, or maybe they're just grifters. Maybe that's just they're just slimy snakes trying to make a dollar. That's just who they are. So I feel you on that. Okay, good. God, this is going really well. I got a whole slew of questions here, and they're kind of designed just sort of yes or no to sort of get a wide range of where you stand on various topics. And so if you could say yes or no, and then maybe, if you want to talk about it, that's cool. But, yeah, all right, so let's get going. Net neutrality. Where are you at on net neutrality? Yes.
I'm 100% for yes.
Cool. War on poverty.
War on poverty, yes. Not war on the poor like Republicans.
Right, but a declaration of the struggle, right, of the fighting the struggle. Yeah. Crime, pro or against us?
I'm against crime.
Good. Well, I mean, Democrats in New York City had a problem with saying that they were opposed to crime. Immigration. Where are you at on immigration with a wall and open borders?
Okay, so I'm pro-immigration, but I don't encourage illegal immigration. But I think that if you're going to come here and risk coming here and all that stuff, I don't think we should turn you away. So I wouldn't encourage illegal immigration, but if you illegally immigrate here, I'm not going to throw you out. I think America um, it has so much to offer, not only immigrants, but immigrants also have so much to offer America, so we should just keep accepting them.
Yeah, especially if they're not, bringing crime or whatever. Germany offers free college for Americans because they want the diversity of ideas and they want people to actually come to their country and live there.
Wow, I didn't.
Yeah, so there's put that in your pocket. You're the start, so just ask the question and get out of the way. Okay. So, driver's license for immigrants or health care for immigrants?
Healthcare, yes. Driver's license. Yeah, sure. Why not? But I think it should be like a separate kind of ID, just so people don't get it confused if they try and get certain. Well, actually, I'd be down for it. I don't see how that's a big problem.
There's a police decertification bill right now. There's apparently you can commit crimes as a cop in California, but you can never be decertified. Would you be, police decertification? Where are you at on police decertification?
I am so for it. I'm also down for breaking up police unions. Because here's the thing. If you're a public official and entrusted with the safety of the public, you answer to the public. You don't answer to some bigger organization that then represents you. That's stupid. Get a lawyer if you need somebody like that.
It does seem crazy that unions are for working class, but the ones that are the strongest unions are the ones that kind of have all the power anyway. So it's goodness gracious. Unions. Where are you at on unions and labor?
Yeah, I'm for private unionization in the private sector. Into the public sector, again, they are accountable to the public, not to any sort of other establishment or entity.
Right.
So I would actually loosen the power of public unions and make it a lot more, choice available to those in both the teachers and police unions and fire unions. I think we should be treating all of our first responders and essential workers much better. But I think unionization actually ends up benefiting the government more than it does the people, and that's not what we need.
Fracking. Where are you at on fracking?
I'm against fracking, but I'm not against the drilling of oil. And should I explain that, or should I?
That's okay with me. I mean, that sounds clear. Fracking causes earthquakes. Drill and oil is a little bit different. Oil is more, I don't know. Go ahead. Explain it. I'm curious about your distinction.
So, I'm against fracking, obviously, because, again, it's dangerous, it's unclean, and all that. But the reason why I'm not 100% against the drilling of oil is because, in general, natural oil spills will exist. It's just whether or not we're going to collect oil in the process of it. But also that, what Newsom did in signing a ban of gas-powered cars by 2045, cars nowadays only produce 0.5% of the emissions they did back in the 1950s. And banning gas-powered cars actually does more to hurt the poor than it does to not only just save the environment, but it will also benefit the rich a whole lot more. Because gas-powered cars are more easily accessible and available to the public, and they're much better than electric cars in terms of being available to the average consumer. So I am all about environmental policy, but not if it retroactively hurts the poor.
Good, I like that because that's it almost does seem like it's ivory tower middle class people that's they got the heart in the right place, but plastic bags. I don't know. Homeless people plastic bags are really useful for homeless people, but there's a ban in New York City on them. And anyways, I feel like that kind of hurt the poor and that
California.
It's all good about plastic, right? Get away from plastics, but I mean, the homeless poop in the bags. So where are they going to poop now? Just on the sidewalk. So did you feel good about yourself? You just made homeless people poop on the sidewalk.
So in California, we ban plastic straws and plastic bags, and that's good and all. I totally get it. I totally get the thing behind it. But when we have an electrical grid that's 80% reliant on coal and oil, we do nothing to actually solve it.
Right, God, that was
well, what it does is that it creates a nice, clean habitat, but it doesn't do anything for the actual environment as a whole. So unless we actually tackle the way we produce energy, then all this extra stuff is just PR, and that's not almost...
It's a Band-Aid. We're not actually attacking the problem at the root, so it's just kind of superficial.
Yeah, we're attacking the symptom of it. We're not attacking the root.
Right. Okay, we're going to get into some bigger, let's see, universal health care.
I'm for universal health care. Let me be more specific. I'm for universal availability of health care, meaning that if you don't want it, you don't have to have it, but if you want it, you can. And that's to all income levels.
Let me ask you this. What I kind of liked about Canada's system is that if you're a Canadian and you're sick, you walk into the hospital, you get taken care of, and then you walk out, and then the bills are taken care of. Are you saying you want something like that or not?
Yeah. I would like something like that. If someone has a better healthcare plan, like let's say through their private insurer,
right?
That covers more or does things at a faster pace, then I don't think you should be thrown off of that if you don't want to be.
Right. Okay. Good. I trust you actually on that. Biden said the same thing, but I felt like they were just saying that to just get everybody to quit thinking about universal health care. But as long as we have a public option, then the private, they can try to compete too. As long as we got the public option, then I'm okay with that. So, universal basic income.
100% for it, but it has to be subjective to the state it's implemented in. So in California, $800 is not enough. We have enough money to pay each citizen $5,000 a month.
Wow, nice. Jobs program.
Jobs program, I'm for them. I'm for jobs programs that with an emphasis on skill labor jobs. So like plumbing, carpenters, welding, because these jobs are not being filled in the state of California like they need to be. I think the average age of a plumber in California is 50 to 60 years old, and so there's such a high demand for them, and we're not meeting that demand at all. So I think the best way to have jobs incentive programs and jobs building programs is to be able to also offer skills with them. Nice.
Instant runoff voting.
Runoff voting, yes, I am so for it. I'm also for RCV, ranked choice voting.
Right.
I'm a big supporter of that. So.
Yeah, that's another name. It's also called preferential voting. Robert's Rules of Order calls it preferential voting. So ranked, we'll just call it ranked voting or ranked elections. Public financed elections.
Yes, I'm actually in favor of that. But I think if we're going to keep the system we currently have, where I would say, because like the problem that we have in California right now, especially with the gubernatorial election, was that we paid a $4,000 filing fee, but then after that, in order to like do the voter information guide, it was $25 a word after we had already done all the other payments, and that just wasn't fair because even though we paid all the fees that we had to, we still didn't get fair representation within the voter information guide.
Crazy. So, okay, you can get your name on the ballot, but if you want a little paragraph, you got to pay us. How much did that end up costing after the paragraph?
I had a small blurb, I think of like 12 words, and it was $525. While the vast majority paid around $6,000.
Oh my God! Well, I guess that shows you how important it is. So that's Colorado does something. They give us like this big blue book every election. Is that the same kind of deal?
Yeah. Except in California, I would change the system to be like you get a set amount of words you can use, and that's it, instead of paying for each word, because
especially in the age of the internet, right? I mean, couldn't you just post, like, essentially you want your message to get out there, so you could just post it on the government website, and, make sure, God, that makes me so mad, because it's almost like, it's clearly just saying your words don't matter unless you have dollars behind it, so it's so corporate. They've corporatized our words.
Yeah, and so actually there was many instances when people would go like on Instagram or TikTok and just like be like, this dude's not taking this role seriously. He's not putting in a lot of stuff. So I had to go out of my way to be like, hey, do you know how much this cost me? It was $25 a word. I paid $525 for that small blurb, and then they actually retracted their statements and were like, oh my God, this is so unfair, blah blah blah.
No, that's great because it sucks, but it's good because you're kind of showing where the reforms are needed.
Yeah, no. California's elections are not made for the for the lower income individuals. They're meant for people with money and who will continue to have money.
I think it's kind of an American thing. It just seems like it's the oligarchs and the plutocrats and the Louisville. I grew up in Kentucky, and there was a basketball game, UK versus Louisville, and they were afraid there was going to be a riot. And the police surrounded all the banks, like all the banks in the city. They surrounded, so it was like, oh, okay, that's what's important, like the housing and the people and the civilians. None of that was important, but don't mess with Chase Bank. And I felt like that was just such a stark, like, I don't know, it felt fascist to me. But yeah, how about that? Antifa and fascism. Where are you at on Antifa and
Okay, so this is not going to be a directly yes or no question for me to answer like that, because Antifa, I get their message, but oftentimes their message just tends to get so blurred in with anything they disagree with is fascism. I'm a huge supporter of free speech. I would not advocate someone getting beat up for saying something terrible. I don't think they should say it. I don't think they should do certain things, but if they do it and they do it within the bounds of the law, I don't think we should be going out and beating them up for it. I think having free speech is an amazing thing, and I would not advocate for violence. But Antifa, their idea of anti-fascism, I will get behind. Okay,
very good. The funding for the arts.
Funding for the arts, 100%, we need it.
The family separation policy of Stephen Miller.
No, we don't need to. Actually, you know what? No. Because I know that there's some instances where people come in with people who aren't their parents. It's so rare and far in between that it's not enough to justify absolutely.
Well, no, maybe that would be the exception. If there is some reason to suspect that that's not, they're not related, then perhaps you have to separate them. Then, what the heck's going on there? So okay, defund the police.
Yes, and reallocate those funds to training and community policing rather than just weapons and.
Right. So essentially, the definition of it: keep the police, let them do their job, but just spend it on things that they don't want, such as homeless services, mental health.
Yeah.
School choice.
I'm for school choice, but I'm not going to put public funds towards it because the whole point of public schools is to give children who need public education the best education possible. So like a
magnet, would you be for a magnet program, like within the public school system, or just all public?
All public. I'm sorry, because
you don't have to, that's all right.
because it's like if every kid is going to go to the better school next door, then that means those who don't have the ability to, that means that school ends up going under, and that means the education it provides is just getting worse. As a state, we have to be able to give all of our schools the best opportunity possible, and that may mean that one school lags behind, but as long as we're actively trying to improve it, then that's all that matters.
I kind of come at public education from the left perspective. Yes, definitely, I'm in favor of public education, freedom and democracy. Your education, was it a teacher, the kind of a sage on the stage, whatever? There's one person that knows all the knowledge, and then the 30 people just have to obey, or is it more like coalition and talking to each other and sort of learning together?
Yeah. I'm more for coalition learning. I like the way you put it that way, because I think just teaching kids to just learn and memorize rather than helping them build those skills and actually understanding the information, I think that's how you make a smarter population rather than a population that knows how to.
I got straight A's, and I kind of resented the whole thing that I kind of had to, sort of be smart, but also kind of like be a smart ass because I needed to not be a total nerd. But I kind of resented the whole thing because instead of us learning and getting along with each other, I was very obedient. So I guess I don't know, whenever I walk into a classroom, I feel a great solidarity with all the student body. And I don't know if other people feel it or not, because and as I get older, I'm like, is it just me? But I feel like a great solidarity, like it's the students and there's the oppressor. Like, hey, oppressor, why don't you quit treating us like this? And we just talk to each other, because I think that we can learn through dialogue. There's a teaching.
It's all about understanding